And Florida Governor and 2024 hopeful Ron DeSantis promises if elected president, he, like Donald Trump, would consider pardoning some of the convicts who rioted on charges related to January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. He made the comments on a radio show. Take a listen.
The DOJ and FBI have been weaponized. We see that. We see it in a variety of contexts. Some of what you mentioned, some of it is the FBI going after parents going to school board meetings. Some of it's how they treat a pro-life demonstrator, how they don't go after people that are attacking pro-lifers. And so what I'm going to do is on day one, I will have folks that will get together and look at all these cases who people are victims of weaponization or political targeting. And we will be aggressive at issuing pardons. Now, some of these cases, some people may have a technical violation of the law, but if there are three other people who did the same thing, but just in a context like BLM, and they don't get prosecuted at all, that is uneven application of justice.
I mean, he's not really that stupid. Maybe he's talking like a third grader. We're talking about people who tried to overthrow American democracy, and Ron knows that. He knows that, and yet he's playing that game. Recall how Donald Trump also responded to a question about pardons for January 6th rioters in a recent CNN town hall meeting?
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6th rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one, because a couple of them probably they got out of control. What they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them.
It's unbelievable. Law and order, the party of law and order. That's what they always tell us. Is it law and order for the poor? Is it law and order for the dispossessed? Is it law and order for what? Everybody but rioters who try to overthrow the federal government to keep a Republican in the White House after he lost? You know, the people they're talking about pardoning, I mean, DeSantis and Trump, are people like Stewart Rhodes, who said they won't fear us until we come with rifles in our hands. And Stewart Rhodes wrote a message ahead of January 6th saying that after the attack, there was a recording that was played in court during his trial where he said, oh, I'm a political prisoner. And Trump saying he's a political prisoner. And DeSantis saying, oh, they're all political prisoners. Oh, it's the FBI and the DOJ's fault. Don't you understand? It's their fault. No, it's Stewart Rhodes's fault. After January 6th, after the cops had the hell beaten out of them with American flags, he said his only regret was we should have brought rifles. Let me tell you something. About 400 rioters have already received sentences for their crimes, for their violent, vile acts committed on January the 6th. They're anti-American. They're treasonous acts. 200 have been incarcerated for that rioting, for the beating of cops. Support the blue? Not quite, not even close. For Donald Trump and his rioters, it was beat the hell out of the cops. And yes, they were planning to overthrow American democracy. It's called sedition. Law enforcement still seeking 350 criminals who committed violent acts at the Capitol, and that search goes on. And trust me, the rioters will be found, and they will be brought to justice too. You know, Trump and DeSantis praise these rioters that you're looking at. They praise the seditionists. They praise the convicts, and they send a very clear, very loud message to others who try to overthrow the federal government while beating the hell out of cops with American flags that our troops have proudly marched into battle for over 2 centuries. They say storm government buildings, destroy American democracy. That's okay. Stand back and stand by. Let me tell you something. The rotted corpse of what once was the Republican Party, it just keeps lurching forward zombie-like, and it will follow Donald Trump into whatever gutter he takes them on this 8-year march toward fascism, not almost fascism, Not something quite like fascism, but fascism itself. And to think, the Republican Party I grew up in and the conservatives that, well, they claim to be conservatives, they once talked about being the party of law and order. And they argued that criminal penalties did not just punish the violators like Stewart Rhodes, but also discouraged other people from committing those same violent crimes. But no more Ron DeSantis, no more Donald Trump. Wow. Do you think that's going to win swing voters in the suburbs? You've got another thing coming. And the only thing I can say is thank God for the judicial branch. And let me say that again, because I say it a lot. Thank God for the judicial branch. The only one of the three branches that stayed true to Madison's promise of checks and balances across our great republic's government. Federal judges, both conservative and liberal alike, did not mindlessly follow Donald Trump. And that's why the rule of law still reigns supreme in America and why justice keeps getting done in courthouses across America every day. And hey, guess what? If you're out there, if you committed crimes, if you committed violent acts on January 6th, they're coming to get you and bring you in, not as a political prisoner, but as somebody who defiled the United States Capitol and tried to shred the Constitution of the United States. And know this, justice will be served. And David Ignatius, I look at Stewart Rhodes' conviction yesterday, 18 years. I don't think it's enough, but that's what they got for him, 18 years. And what message does that send to all the other people out there that listen to idiots on podcasts or on websites that are saying, let's overthrow the federal government? Because I've heard this for 30 years from wingnuts on the far reaches of parties. Donald Trump tried to bring it mainstream, and a lot of people are sitting in jail for a very long time because of it.